Today we're going to be working through the midterm review sheet. We're going to just work through the first 20 problems for right now. So make sure you've got your review sheets out, and I'm going to need some help coming up with these answers. First up, it says to describe the pattern and then write the next three numbers. First up, Emma, how do you think that I should do this? Do you know what the pattern is for problem number 1?
Yes.
Okay, what do you think the pattern is?
Subtract by 8.
Okay, she says to subtract by 8. How many of you would agree with her? Very good job. Okay, you can see that it's getting smaller, so then you know you are either going to you're either going to divide or subtract. She noticed there was a pattern. For each time that you figure out what the pattern is, I want you to double check it, okay? So she thinks it's subtract by 8. Let's just try this out. What's 80 minus 8?
72.
Okay, that is 72. What's minus 8 again?
64.
It would be 64. What's minus 8 again?
56.
56. So you can see the pattern that she came up with does work. Now here's the thing that she said. Subtract. Do you guys know what the 4 operation words are? Add, subtract, multiply, divide. This spot right here, you will always have one of those 4 words when finding a pattern, and then you just have to figure out what are you doing it by, what number, okay? So help me out, Kyla, what are my next 3 numbers in the pattern? Very good job. And that is how you find the pattern and give me the next 3 numbers. Excellent job. On to Michael. What is my pattern where you see here it says 10, 20, 40, 80? Okay, so he used one of our operation words, add, by, and then he gave me a number. So let's just test out our pattern to make sure it works. We start with a 10. What's 10 plus 20? 30. Is that what this says? No. So I know automatically, although, yes, 20 plus 20 equals 40, it did not work for every single thing here, so that cannot be my pattern. Who thinks you might know what the pattern is? Landon, what do you think?
Multiply by 2.
He says multiply by 2. So notice once again, he's got one of the words that I want, one of my operation words, multiply by 2. Let's just check it out to see if this is right. What's 10 times 2? 20. Good job. What's 20 times 2? 40, excellent. And what's 40 times 2? 80. So I do know, because I tested it out, multiply by 2 works for all of my patterns there. Okay, Jakari, what are my next 3 numbers?
160, 320, and 640.
Excellent job. All right, so once again, this is an area you are allowed to use your calculator. If we're practicing with our calculators, then on your midterm, you're also allowed to use your calculators, okay? How many of you would say at home when you did those 2 problems, you got both of those correct? Okay. Evaluate the variable expression for the given value of the variable. Do you guys remember what this word evaluate means? Solve. So we know in the end we're going to have a specific number, okay? So let's just start with the original problem that it gives to us, y plus 11. Now, if you don't have this written down, I want you to go ahead and put this in your notes, because this is what I'm going to be looking for on your midterm review. I want to see work, because I'm able to give you partial credit, at least if you have part of the answer correct, okay? This is from the beginning of the year. Remember when we said plug it in, plug it in?
Plug it in.
All right, so this is one of those plug it in situations. Gabby, what am I plugging in for y?
7.
All right, so instead of y plus 11, it's going to be 7 plus 11. Gabby, what's the answer?
18.
18 is correct. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Carlos, help me out. What do we do? Okay, go ahead and plug it in. What am I plugging in? Okay, and what's my answer? $46.28 is correct. Okay, questions on how to evaluate variable expressions? This one says to write the product as a power. Landon, what is h times h as a power? H to the second power. Does anyone know how to say that another way?
Ooh, H.
H squared.
H squared. Very good job. Let's go on to the next one. Katie, 10 times 10 times 10. Write it for me as a power.
10 to the third power.
10 to the third power. Does anyone remember another way to say 10 to the third power? Not 10 squared. 10 squared goes for the 2. 10 cubed is correct. All right, so that's how you write it as a power. This one did not ask us to evaluate it. So if you worked it through and you evaluated it and you told me that this answer was 1,000, erase that. All I want it is just as a power. Okay, let's go to the next one. Read it for me, please, JD.
Evaluate the power.
All right, JD, what does 8 cubed or 8 to the third power mean?
8 times 8 times 8.
Very good job. And what's the answer when you evaluate it?
512.
512. Good work. Next one, Michael, 4 squared. What does that mean? 4 times 4. And what's the answer? 16 is correct. Evaluate the expression. It tells you to use order of operations, which is PEMDAS. Let's talk about PEMDAS. What does the P stand for?
Parentheses,
E?
exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction.
Okay, very good job. So just remember, these two are on the same line. So do multiplication and division, whichever comes first. Addition and subtraction, whichever comes first, okay? Looking at this problem right here, are there any parentheses work I need to do? Yes. What does the parenthesis work say?
9 minus 1.
9 minus 1. What is 9 minus 1? 8. So before I do anything else, I have to do that, and then I'm just going to bring everything else down, okay? What's my answer, guys?
2.
2 is correct. Raise your hand if you got that correct. All right. I want you to do the next one if you haven't done it yet. And then I want to hear some answers of what you got. Carlos, what'd you get?
I got
10. Okay, who got a different answer? What'd you get?
34.
34. Okay, who got a different answer?
36.
36. Anyone get a different one? All right, how many of you would say one of these is the answer that you got? Okay, one of those is the correct answer. Let's check it out to see which one it is, okay? First up, what should I do?
multiply.
I have to multiply, okay? Because if I look at it, there's no parentheses, there's no exponents, but I do see that I have multiplication or division. So I'm going to work right here. What's 4 times 8, guys?
32.
32. And bring everything else down plus 8 divided by 4. Next up, thinking about my PEMDAS right here, what should I do next? You can see there's two options, either adding or dividing. What comes first?
Divide.
The dividing has to come first. I think this is where some of you will see that you accidentally messed up. What is 8 divided by 4? 2. And bring everything else down. What's your answer? 34. Okay. Notice, I'm not sure how somebody got a 36, but this 10 right here, what happened was instead you did 32 plus 8 first, which is 40, and then you divided by 4 and got 10, but that is not correct. Remember, order of operations matters. If you don't use the order of operations, you could very well get a wrong answer. Complete the statement using greater than, less than, or equal to. What is the one difference between this number and that number? The one on the right has an extra 0, okay? Am I able to just add an extra 0 to this one over here? Yes, you can add as many zeros to the end of something as you want. Once I add that 0, what does it look like my answer is? Equals. Those two equal each other. Okay, remember, I could add another 0, another 0. I could keep adding zeros. It's not going to change my answer because of that decimal point right there. Okay, but you don't need to add any extras. Next one says, round the decimal to the indicated place value. Okay, place value is something you're going to need to know for your SATs, and you're going to need to know it for your midterm. So let's just talk about this. Which place is this in?
The 10th.
The tenths. What's this one?
100.
Hundreds. What's this one?
Thousands.
Thousands. Let's say it one more time together. What place is this? Okay, so which one is in my thousands place?
9.
The 9. I'm going to underline it, and it asks its neighbor what? Are you 5 or bigger? What's it say? No. So what's my answer going to be?
12.009.
Okay, if this number right here is not 5 or bigger, then this answer is going to stay the same, and then you're basically just dropping that 2 off and you don't need it anymore. How many of you got that one correct? This one is asking us to find the mean and the range of the data. When I have a data set, what do I do before I do anything else? Put them in order from least to greatest. What's the tiniest one? 1. Keep going.
8, 13, 14, 15, 17.
Okay, make sure you got both the 15s. Okay, there were 2 15s in there, so make sure you get them both. What comes after the second 15?
17, 18, 19, 20.
Excellent. All right, Asia, help me out. How do I find the mean?
Add all the numbers up, and then however many numbers there are, you divide that by how many you added.
All right, I'm adding all of my numbers up together. Asia, when you added it up, what was your total that you added?
I got 140.
140 is correct. Okay, now what?
You divide it by 10,
Why'd you divide it by 10?
because that's how many numbers are in that.
You are correct. When I go through my original data set, there were 10 numbers there. Now, what's the answer? 14 is the average. Now remember, your mean, you always want it to be somewhere in the middle of all these numbers, okay? And you can see it does come in between the 1 and the 20. It is the number 14, so very good job. Next up, Alex, how do I find the range? Very good. You want to take the highest number and subtract the lowest number. So show me what your work is. 20 minus 1 equals? 19 is correct. Who got both of those correct? Once again, if you did not, that's okay. Erase it and fix it because you want to have the right answers in your notes for studying for midterm. JD, do you know how to do this? Fantastic. How do you do it first before anything else?
Well, you gotta put them from least to greatest.
Okay, because we have a data set, we're going to put it in order from least to greatest. Class, help me do it. What's the first one?
0.7, 0.9, 1.1, 1.4.
Everybody keep going.
1.5, 1.6,
1.8, 2.0, 2.6, 2.8, 3.4, 3.5.
Very good job. Okay, Katie, help me out. What do I do first?
First, you have to draw your stem in between them,
Okay, we're drawing the line. Then what?
and then you put your 0 on one side,
And then go ahead and tell me all the numbers for the stem.
0.6, 0.7.
The ones for the stem. Going all the way down on the left side. 0 through what?
0, 1, 2, and 3.
Very good job. Okay, so what are the leaves for the 0?
0.6, 0.7, and 0.9.
Okay, so should I put a point there? No, you do not put a point there. Okay, so when you have a stem and leaf plot, you never want to put a point. You just put the numbers. Okay, your points will be put in a different way, but you never put points or commas in a stem and leaf plot. Okay, next up, Gabby, what goes with my 1?
1, 4, 5, 6, 8.
All right, there were a lot of leaves for that one. Next up, Kyla, what goes with my 2?
2.0, 2.6, and 2.8.
Very good job. And JD, what goes with the 3?
3, 4, 5.
Okay, no 3, but just 4 and 5. All right, very good job. Okay, so now am I finished with my leaf? You have to put a key. That's the main thing that people forget. How many of you would say you forgot your key? All right, that's okay. Our goal is to figure that out today. So who could tell me a good idea of something to put for your key? Jakari, what'd you put?
I put 0.6.
Okay, he went 0.6 equals 0.6. So make sure you've got this part right here where it's just showing, okay, that is what I used right here, 0 and 6, okay? A lot of people will use that because that's the very first one. Who would say you put a different number inside of your key? What'd you do, Gabby?
3/4 equals 3.4.
Okay, 3/4 equals 3.4 because that's what she found right there. Very good. Isabel, what'd you do?
I did 1.1.
Okay, and she did 1.1. Once again, any number is totally fine as long as it was a number that was in your original data set. Let's go to number 16. For this one, we're filling in the blanks with the vocab words mean, median, mode, and range. First up, number 16. Emma, read for me what you have. That is correct. The mean is the average of the data set. Next up, Michael, number 17.
The range is the difference between the greatest and least value.
That is correct. Good job. Next up, Carlos, number 18.
The data set is the one that occurs the most.
That is correct. The mode is the one that occurs the most. Last one, everyone read me number 19.
The median is the middle number of the data set.
Very good job. Okay, so these terms are something you're going to want to know for your midterm. If you forgot about them, make sure you're going back through and studying them just a little bit. Next up, we're going to do these final two problems for today. It asks us to write the following number in scientific notation. Who feels pretty comfortable and remembers how to do number 20? Michael, help me out.
So, scientific notation is a number that's under 10.
Okay, you want the number to be under 10.
So, since it's 5 billion, you want to shorten it all the way down until it's under 10. So then you go 1.
Where's my decimal point at right now?
Oh, behind the 0.
It's behind the 0 at the end of the number. Now, what's my goal with that decimal point?
Move it as close as you can to make it under 10.
Okay, move it to the left until it's only got a number that's less than 10 to the left of it. Tell me when to stop.
Stop.
All right, now what do I do?
Then you bring down 5 point, and then you put 5 point times.
Okay, you want to bring down everything except for the zeros at the end. So what all am I bringing down?
Oh, you bring in 6, 0. No, it's 6, 6.
Okay, this is the only thing you don't have to bring down because those zeros, do you guys remember what happens to them? They float away into outer space, okay? They're gone. We don't need them anymore, all right? Now what? I have to multiply by a certain number. What should I multiply by, Michael?
6.
Not times 6. Times 10 to the 6th power, okay? Now, there is a way to double check this. I want you to pull out your calculators. Okay, so on your midterm, you're allowed to use a calculator, which is why you should always be double checking your work, even if you think, oh, I got this. Double check it just to make sure you've got the right answer. So put this in your calculator, 5.66 times 10 to the 6th power, and see what it comes out to be. Your answer should come out to equal what that original problem was right there. Next up is 65. Where is my decimal point at?
Behind the 5.
It's behind the 5. It's at the end. How many places do I need to move it? I only need to move it one place. And now what does that drop down as?
6.5.
That comes down as 6.5 and multiply it times what?
10.
To the first power. Okay, if you remember, anything multiplied by the first power just equals itself. Once again, I want you to put that into your calculator and check to see what 6.5 times 10 to the first power comes out as. Okay, so when you multiplied it out, what answer did you get? You got your 65 again, okay? So tomorrow we are going to be going through problems 22 through 40, so please make sure tonight for homework that you are working through those and make sure you've got those answers.